Um,
While Rock's getting ready,
oh, I was confused why so many people joined at once, but
appreciate you
uh,
guys all for stopping by. As I'm sure you noticed, we got a new road ahead with, I would say, probably the most news that or like the most content in a road ahead that we've had in a while. Like normally they kind of limit it to a few things here or there, but we've got a decent amount of stuff. So,
probably
um,
since the Conquest announcement. I remember when they first announced the Conquest that there's so much stuff in there. But
Yeah. So obviously for you guys here, and then whoever watches this back later, it is I, MDA the Optimist, and joining me as always is your fellow barbarian, Rock. How's it going, Rock?
it was weird. Usually I do the introductions. This doesn't feel right. uh, all right, so I guess we want to go ahead and get started with talking about a Tuscan and a droid Omicron, I guess.
Yeah. So we'll get started with we're gonna do the characters first in the road ahead, and then we'll jump into kind of the more meat and potatoes. So in the road aheads, they announced that the Tuscan faction is going to be getting a lot of love. They're going to be filling out the team. So I think this week we're getting the Tuscan chieftain, and then we're going to be getting the Tuscan warrior at some later dates. And these are both from the Book of Boba Fett shows. So yeah, if you've seen Book of Boba Fett, you'll know these characters. But they said that we're going to be seeing the Tuscans a lot more. They're going to be in galactic challenges, conquest feats, assault battles, and they will have a new Datacron set. So they did give us the kit though for the new Tuscan chieftain, and let me tell you, it's a spicy one. This might actually be the shortest kit that we've had for a bit. So Tuscan chieftain's coming in. He is a dark side support leader and Tuscan, and basically, I think this is going to be your new go-to leader. Is his days of leading the Tuscans are done. So what we got here, I'm actually going to just read through his whole kit because it's pretty short. On the basic, which is a Zeta, call a random other ally to assist, dealing 50% more damage, and grant Tuscan allies 2 stacks of momentum for three turns, which momentum is the status effect that Boba Fett Sign of Jango has. So momentum will be used a lot in this kit. The special number 1 grants all Tuscan allies protection up 60% for 2 turns, dispel all debuffs from them, and reduce their cooldowns by 1. The leader ability here, which is a Zeta and an Omicron. Whenever an enemy gains bonus turn meter, grants Tuscan allies 1 stack of momentum for 3 turns. Tuscan allies gain 20% defense and tenacity for each stack of momentum on them. Whenever a Tuscan ally is targeted by an enemy and they have at least 10 stacks of momentum, remove all stacks of momentum, stun all attacking enemies for 1 turn, which can't be resisted, and the targeted Tuscan ally takes a bonus turn. For each stack of momentum removed this way, there's a 20% chance, plus 5% per relic amplifier level, to a max of 50%, to inflict a stack of damage over time on each attacking enemy for 2 turns. And his Omicron is while in 3v3 Grand Arenas, Boba Fett Sign of Jango counts as a Tuscan ally if there is no character that summons at the start of the battle, which basically this excludes the Tuscan Raider Omicron. Boba Fett Sign of Jango's payout is active, and he can't lose momentum stacks except through expiration. And the unique ability here, whenever an enemy recovers health or protection, inflict 1 stack of damage over time on them for 2 turns at the end of that turn. Whenever an enemy takes damage from a damage over time effect, Tuscan allies recover 10% health. Tuscan allies are immune to damage over time effects. So, Rock, what's your just knee-jerk reaction here looking at the Tuscan Chieftain? What are your thoughts on the kit?
So he doesn't do any damage, right? So he's kind of like a Mon Mothma type.
Yeah, so he doesn't do damage. However, he won't escape from battle. So, like, if he's the last one left, you'll still have to kill him. Unless they go and add that. As of right now, it's looking like that's what he'll do. Because I think he can still throw dots on people.
Yeah, so technically he can still kill somebody, even though he's not the one actually dealing the damage. So there is a, world where he does, stay alive, throw dots on you, and you still die. So, okay. So interesting that, we can have a kit this short, and it'd be actually kind of decent. I'll be honest, I don't know much about the Tusken faction or even Boba and Jango, but I know people have been begging for another Tusken forever, so I'm happy. I don't have any complaints.
Yeah, no, I know. And the Tusken Warrior, they did say it is meant to directly synergize with the Tusken Chieftain, so there is a missing link to this team.
Yeah.
But as your resident Scion of Jango experts, this team, if you have Boba Fett Scion of Jango, this team is going to be a lot of fun, especially if you throw on the Omicron. Well, I guess if you want to be able to use Boba with him, you have to throw on the Omicron. This team is going to be basically like anti-turn meter, and especially, like, I think what's really cool here, and I think with Boba Fett, you're going to see some funny shenanigans with this. They gain 20% defense and tenacity for each stack of momentum, which on regular Tuskens, they're only going to be able to have only 10. So they'll be gaining, like, at the highest, 200% defense and tenacity. Whereas Scion of Jango can go as high as he wants. So, like, you can see him, like, I mean, if you get to, like, 20, 30 stacks of momentum on Boba Fett, like, you can easily get to, like, 300, 400, 500% defense and tenacity. And especially with Datacrons, like, this team is going to be tough to kill, and Boba Fett can do some good damage. So I think this is going to be a fun team. Curious to see what the other Tusken's going to do. But I mean, I think this is like they're a real team now. Like they're not just a meme team. I think like you can actually do stuff in all modes with this.
Yeah, it's actually going to make it, not a gimmick. This isn't a gimmick team anymore. This is going to be, something that's going to actually take out stuff. What stuff that would be, I don't know. I mean, at the bare minimum of this is, taking out bounty hunters and stuff of that tier, then I'm happy.
I think just off first glance, I think you're looking at I think you're looking at bounty hunters, troopers. I think you're looking at Shakti. I think you're looking at Iden. All like heavy turn meter gain teams are really going to struggle, or any team that's like heavy damage over time, or like Empire teams might struggle. So this is going to be a fun team. And especially like the other Tuskens have a lot of like cleanses built into their kit with like Tusken Shaman, and Ur's got some funny turn meter gains. So I think this team's going to be fun, and especially if we might see some kit touch-ups. I think once Tusken Warrior comes out, we may see some kit touch-ups just to round everything into shape. But especially with some Datacrons, and I mean, this is CG telling us that like Tuskens are going to be important. So, and especially because they're going to be needed in the new raid that we're going to touch on later. If you haven't started on your Tuskens, you might want to start working on your Tuskens.
Yep.
Now, next here, we'll pull up the Droideka Omicron. Droideka received a Territory War Omicron, and basically CG is telling us droids are going with Grievous, the rest of the Separatists are going with Trench. So it is going on his unique ability. So originally, without the Omicron, Droideka gains 10% turn meter and 1 stack of charge for 1 turn whenever an enemy takes a turn. Additionally, he recovers 10% protection whenever it damages a target locked enemy. Droideka has plus 50% speed and plus 25% evasion unless it has damage immunity. And if Droideka has damage immunity, it has minus 50% speed and a 35% chance to assist, dealing 50% less damage whenever another Separatist ally uses an ability, limit once per turn. Now, while in territory wars, and if all allies are Separatist droids, Droideka gains damage immunity for 1 turn at the start of the encounter, which can't be copied, dispelled, or prevented. Droideka also gains 1 stack of charge for 1 turn whenever another ally takes a turn. Whenever an ally is marked, Droideka gains 25% health stacking, or max health stacking, until the end of the encounter, and the ally in the leader slot gains 20% turn meter. At the start of each turn, if Droideka has damage immunity, all allies are immune to daze and stun. While Droideka is marked, all other allies have plus 25% potency and plus 25 speed. The first time Droideka is defeated while marked and an ally is active, revive all allies at the end of the turn, and then all allies recover 100% health. At the start of Droideka's turn, all allies recover 10% health and protection. What is your thoughts here, Rock, on our boy DDK?
Hang on, give me a second. I'm still trying to... while you were reading, for some reason, they showed the old final text and the new final text. And for some reason, I spent that whole time looking at the two to see if they had any differences. And my smooth brain was like, oh, why would they put that? There has to be, but whatever. So I do like the protection and health gain. And then he gets marked somehow whenever an ally is marked. Okay.
So I think it's when, whenever Grievous goes and marks a droid.
Okay. Droid gains max health stacking? Ooh. Okay. Leader slot gains 20. Okay. Yeah. That's nice. Immune to daze and stun is pretty big. Stun is it's that's why the Empire counters work so well, because if you just stun the whole squad, they're not getting turn meter. B1, B2 can't do his thing. So, I wonder if we'll see a change to how you mod Droideka, because now it kind of almost seems like you want him to be fast, so that way you can go ahead and just get the damage immunity out turn 1.
Well, no, he's gonna be damage immunity to starts because he gains it.
Okay. Never mind. Keep him slow.
This is gonna be insane too because it can't be dispelled, so he's gonna be in permanent damage immunity for a turn. And what I really like here is he gains a stack of charge whenever an ally takes a turn. And some of the issues that I had with Droideka is that once you get the turn meter train rolling with Grievous, he can't gain charge because the charge was tied to enemies taking turn. Whereas now, but what's insane though is that DDK isn't gaining turn meter. I mean, he's gaining turn meter with the team, but he's not gaining the 10% when an enemy takes a turn. So you could, in theory, get a decent amount of stacks of charge, especially if you have him slow, which let's just say you have 8 or 9 stacks of charge. I mean, that's 45% offense per stack there. And then, when he unloads everything, this is going to be fun. I think this puts Grievous back to being meta on defense in TW.
I wonder if this is going to help with Grievous is a pretty good counter for Sith Eternal and JML. I wonder if this is I mean, obviously you're not going to put Newt with team anymore, but you lose a lot of turn meter out of the team. But I mean, if Droideka's, I'm just wondering, in theory, you can get Droideka to I don't know, 12 or 13 stacks if that would just one shot a GL with that much offense.
Yeah. No, I mean, I guess we'll see when it comes out. And especially this is a team that a lot of people have relics pretty high just because Grievous was meta for so long. I'm excited to see this one. I'm sure there'll be a few people throughout all of our guilds that pop this on.
The second, I can see 5 people just, let's do it. But I don't know. I was one of the people that, I brought Droideka to Gear 12 just because I needed to for gas, and then completely forgot about him. but I'm a big fan, especially like when we can get more decent territory war Omicrons, the better, because a lot of the territory Omicrons low-key kind of suck. I'm gonna be honest with you. So that's my take, I guess. Let's whatever. You want to go into the Cal Kestis stuff?
Yeah. So we have a new hero's journey coming. It's going to be Cal Kestis from the Fallen Order game, and specifically the version that we're going to be farming for is the appearance that we see in Jedi Survivor. So basically, we are going to be getting, I believe they said 5 new characters from the Fallen Order universe, and that includes 2 versions of Cal. So we're going to be getting Fallen Order Cal, who is going to be an unaligned Force user. We are going to be getting Sayer Junda, who is the, I would say, like, not necessarily your Jedi Master in the game, but she's kind of your mentor there in the game.
Your spiritual leader is what I kind of thought of her as.
Yeah. And she is going to be a leader character for unaligned Force user types, which I'm curious to see if this finally gives, like, Fulcrum a home, Scavenger Ray a home. Like, there's some unaligned Force users are like Visas. Like, besides, like, Visas is used with Starkiller, but, like, you know, this might tie together more of the unaligned Force users. Because they're, like, it's an interesting tag. Like, there's, like, we've got basically the Inquisitors, we've got the Rays, the Kylos, and then, like, a couple of the Ahsokas, and, like, it's an interesting bunch, and I think a designated leader besides Starkiller would be cool. Everyone's favorite. I think, honestly, I think there were more people calling for Marin to come to the game than Cal.
Yeah.
And Marin is going to be coming, and she is designed to lift up the Night Sister squad, which they definitely needed, because, don't get me wrong, Asajj Omicron is fun, and, you know, Talzin Lead is great, but they needed, I don't even care if Marin's, like, I don't expect her to be a leader. I think they are going to keep it, like, either Asajj or Talzin Lead, but just, like, either, like, an attacker, a support, you know, something to boost the squad up, because, like, low-key Night Sisters have kind of just, they're almost going on just, like, C-tier territory. Like, what they can counter is just, they're not that great in TB anymore. You know, they're fine in some of the PvE content, but, like, this is good. Night Sisters needed help.
As somebody whose, like, first serious team was Night Sisters, that I'm excited. I've always been, like, a Night Sister homer. I've always, you know, loved them. So,
are we going to see Rock wail on Marin?
No. I have too much money to spend on other stupid bullshit. But no, I wouldn't. But when she finally does get a node, you know, I might, you know, depending on where she goes, if she's not, you know, perfect world for me is, you know, give her one of the 12 energy nodes that they've been doing all the other marquees, because if she's on a 12 energy node, you bet for sure that I'm, you know, throwing at least a refresh her way. At least one.
So those are the 3 characters that have been mentioned. We may be getting more, but I think the next road ahead, they said we'll hear some more. But for the Cal Kestis Survivor, the ultimate version, they said he will be a force to be reckoned with in territory battles and a must-have for any holotable hero. You can expect to use Cal Kestis Survivor in dedicated territory battle missions, and you'll be able to make good use of his 3 dedicated Omicrons. I don't know what mode they'll be for. From the wording, this sounds like they're going to be for territory battles, but I don't know. We don't know yet. However, they did say that in addition, you can get more out of your hero's journey Cal Kestis by slotting him into Jedi PvP teams, which will help complete the Jedi squads you've been cultivating over the years. I think this screams Jedi Master Luke, just because I can't imagine that he's going to have a Galactic Republic tag.
Yeah. I mean, Also, like the other thing I've been noticed as a JML user is that I don't use Jedi Knight Revan all that much, and so you can kind of make almost two decent Jedi squads. But
I think where
yeah,
we're getting at is like, I think Cal is gonna make Revan obsolete, and I think they're gonna release a Malgus like character for the Old Republic Jedi, and that's gonna like tie Jedi Knight Revan, Jolee, Bastila all together, and Luke will take the like non-GR Jedi, so like all of them, Old Ben, Cal, Jedi Knight Luke. If Luke ever gets, because I don't think Cal's going to be his lifter. Otherwise, they would have said he would be his lifter. I think it's going to be like, oh, I think Cal's going to go with there. But the other things that they had to say on Cal here is they'll say more about this event and future characters as they dive into the world of Jedi Fallen Order. But here are a few things you can expect. As I said, 5 new characters. Use of these characters for conquest feats and territory battle bonus zones, and a new territory battle planet for Rise of the Empire, and there will be a Cal Kestis mission on Braca with Seer. I'm not gonna lie, I think I'm excited for Cal. I know you're excited for Cal. A lot of people are excited for Cal Kestis to come.
agreed. I am a little bit upset that it's going to be a TV, but I think that's just kind of the what's the word I'm looking for here. Not progression, but the standard. I think a lot of the new characters coming out are going to have something to do with TV, or they're going to have some place in the TV. Because, like, if I'm not mistaken, like, didn't they say they plan on adding like 6 new planets or something like that?
Yeah,
Like,
if you notice in the TB map, there's like empty zones, and they said like they're gonna turn on these zones and like add new planets and like move planet. Like, I mean, this is gonna be a fluid map. Like, they're gonna change things from time to time. So yeah, and I think that's also how they'll help like scale the content and difficulty and all that.
yeah, like I just kind of wonder if they could almost do something like, you know, you can kind of, before the TV goes on, you can select 2 versions of it if they get to the point where they have that many planets. So you can kind of have, a lower tier of Gear 12 is the minimum requirement to start, or But then again, with the 200 mil minimum requirement, by 200 mil, you got a couple of full relic teams at that point, so I don't see them doing that. But like I thought I saw somewhere, it may have been a Reddit post or somebody talking on Discord, but like I thought it was data mine that there was rewards up to like 92 stars. Like, I don't know where I heard that, but that's always been in like the back of my head for the past couple of months. Because like right now, the maximum you can get is 54. And so I don't know how they would do the new planet. Are they just going to introduce a brand new planet on top of the ones we have, or are they just going to swap them out? Because I don't think they flush that out very well.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I know that they said that they're going to be adding new planets, but I'm not sure how and when they're going to swap them, or with what frequency, if they're going to be tied to certain things. But it's cool that we're going to be getting new content, because I know that like part of the issue with doing TV is that like, and especially since the missions are static, is it gets kind of stale after a while. So it's cool that like this could be changing. So I'm definitely looking forward to this here. But speaking of PvE content, we are getting a new raid. You heard it here. We are getting the Crate Dragon raid, and they're also going to be changing just raids as a whole, how they're going to work. So just for looking at the Crate Dragon raid specifically, this is going to be a 1-phase raid. And this is going to be different from how they've done raids in the past. a lot of times with other raids, they had to add a lot of different modifiers. They're immune to XYZ debuff just because you just get the old-fashioned pit raid where you get Han and Luke and just keep removing the turn meter and you solo the raid. However, they said here there's going to be a new mechanic called Defiance that will require players to bring debuffs to minimize the effects of bosses' attacks. So they said in this way you're going to want to remove as many stacks of Defiance, do as much debuff, do as much damage as you can, and this is going to be the newest, latest and greatest challenge for PvE. With this, they are, as a way to make it more thematic and as a way to limit the I would say keep it contains, so we're not just throwing GMK Cat at it. We are only going to be able to use the following factions. It is Hutt Cartel, Jawas, Mandalorians, Old Republic, and Tuscans. So if you've got those teams all, I don't see anything about a relic requirement, and we're going to touch on it with the raid changes because I know that we can scale the difficulty. But those are the 5 factions that we need to do this raid. So Jess, before we get into the raid changes, Rock, what is your thoughts on this as the new raid?
I like it. I was expecting to do a Death Star raid at some point, but I'll take it. I think it's kind of cool that we're getting a lot of the the new stuff, and then I also think for just if you're looking at this game from a health standpoint, you want new people coming into play, and what better way to get some 14, 15-year-old person who is kid who's oh, hey, I love the Star Wars series. Oh, hey, I can play this game where I can, unlock the characters that Disney's been throwing out at me and, stuff like that. So I think from this is like an advertisement as, oh, hey, look, you guys can take down this big dragon that, shows up in the TV shows. And I think that's a good thing. And then for one, it's, it does get kind of stale, playing the same raid week in and week out. Once you master it, there's no big, nothing new. You just keep on doing it till, it gets easier and easier. But I don't know. I like it because it seems like they can almost, rotate this in. If they're going to be one phase, then, there's a possibility you get thematic with it. Like the, oh shucks, the big scaly monster from Clone Wars. I can't think of its name.
The Zillo Beast.
The Zillo Beast. Yeah, you can get a Zillo Beast style, and it's Jedi, Galactic Republic, clone troopers. That's your squads, and then you can go to an indoor kind of raid where take on the ATST or whatnot, or something like that. I it's going to be nice because it's every 3 months. I don't know how long they want to rotate them out, but every 3 to 6 months we're getting a new raid. So it's and then something to work at, something to get better at, and then I don't know. Hopefully, I have a lot of issues that I think we'll get to later, but I think just the fact that we're getting a new raid is pretty awesome because it's been 2021 since we've gotten a new one. It's been almost 2 years, right?
Yeah, I think CPIT was 2021, so
it was October 2021.
Yeah, it's about a year, or yeah,
almost 2 years total time, I think, since we've gotten it. If that makes any sense. No, that does not make sense. I'm just gonna stop talking. I've been listening to people rabble about Native Americans for the past 3 hours, so my brain is kind of fried. So
I'm excited for the Crate Dragon raid just because with just the Crate Dragon in general, it's such a kind of a iconic boss figure. I know my wife and I just replayed Knights of the Old Republic a little bit ago, and one of her and I's favorite battles or missions was fighting the Crate Dragon. Seeing it in Mando was obviously really, really cool. That was one of the best episodes of season 2. And one of my favorite things about playing this game is like the thematic missions. Like nothing was cooler than doing the different missions for Lightside Geo, or like even in this new TB, it's like very, very thematic. So like having these set teams is cool. And I think, like, I know it's going to be annoying in some ways because they're basically saying, hey, go relic these teams up. However, as they're going to touch on later, I think this is going to be good for the overall health and well-being for raids, because if this means that they can get us more raids, I think I'm okay with this, just because, like, hey, if this means that, we get a Crate Dragon raid, like you said, maybe we get a Starkiller base raid or a Death Star raid or something like that, and they're going to limit it to certain factions. It adds values to farming certain factions, but then also, like, it also makes certain Omicron, certain teams more valuable, and easier for CG to make content, because when you have so many teams and so many GLs like we have right now, like I remember when CPIT first came out, SOKR was like a nightmare. Yeah. And even JMK Cat now, the fact that you can solo a phase with JMK Cat is bonkers, and it makes designing content really difficult. So I'm a big fan of this new raid, but now I think let's jump into the raid changes as a whole. And I'm not gonna lie, it is a lot what they're changing. So I'm not gonna it's a couple scrolls worth of changing. So I'm gonna just sum it up basically. So what they're doing now is, as opposed to the capitalist style of raid rewards, we're going to more of a communist style raid rewards. We're gonna have a point system for how we calculate damage in the raids. So basically, the raids are going to run for 3 days, and you only run one raid at a time. And you're going to have a guild reward track and a individual reward track. Everyone in the guild is going to get the same amount of rewards in the guild reward track. However, the more damage, or like the more attempts that you do individually, so let's say you invested in all the good raid teams, or you have like the raid Omicrons, or you've got all, you take raid seriously, you can rack up some decent rewards where you might have been getting the top rewards in the previous system. The rewards now are going to be a bit more flat, but it's still going to reward you for doing a ton of damage. And I think it's going to be kind of like how TB is, where like you have your star counts, you have, we'll just say 30%, 60%, and 100%. And each threshold you cross will be more rewards for the guild. It is a little bit confusing with what they're doing. So basically, the C-Pit raid is gone. We are just going to have the 3 legacy raids, the Pit raid, the Tank raid, and the Sith raid. And those raids will be 4 phases, whereas the new Crate Dragon raid will be 1 phase. They did say other raids in the future might be 1 phase. They might be more than 1 phase. We'll see as those go on. However, there will be the way that this is going to work now is we no longer have to use airplane mode. We no longer have to quit if a attempt isn't good. We will have as many attempts as we want, and the only attempts that count are if we post them. And you'll finish it, you'll either die or you'll get to a certain score, and it will say, wow, that was great. Do you want to post this? And you'll say yes or you'll say no, and that's what you'll do. There is going to be a scaling difficulty with the reward. Basically, there will be a base difficulty, which is intended for Gear 10, or around the same difficulty as like the Heroic Sith Raid. Whereas you can go up into higher difficulties. There will be more modifiers and different things, and the idea is the more difficult modifiers you use, the more rewards you get. However, I believe this is still a work in progress. With this individual reward track and guild reward track, CG is saying that the rewards should be the same. We should not notice a difference with the types of rewards that we get. And they have made some changes to where there is a lockout period when joining a guild. So basically, merking is now it's no longer a thing. You can only
Boo.
I know. So rip the merc servers. Seeing if there's anything else. They are going to be changing the quests and certain things and all the portraits tied to the old things, and I think that they're going to find new ways to implement those. But the idea of what CG said is they want there to be a progression for what raid you do. So, like, when you're in a beginner guild, you're doing the pit raid. Once you've mastered the pit raid, you go to the tank raid, Sith raid, and then the Crate Dragon raid, and then, you know, as more raids come out, you're going to be doing that. Rock. I mean, I'm just skimming the surface here with the raids. There's a lot of stuff in this post. I encourage all you guys to go read it for yourselves, or, you know, go watch someone's video on it. But Rock, what's your thoughts here on the raid changes?
For one, I just wanted to say, for the people who are, you know, maybe don't understand how the rewards will work, for anyone who knows Russian history would understand that there was a period called NEP, or New Economic Policy, and that's essentially what they're going for, is this weird mix of a socialist capitalist kind of system. There will still be individual rewards that you get for, you know, doing all these other stuff, but, you know, you working really hard will help, you know, the guild as well. But you also will get rewarded for also working extra hard. So I think that it's a good mix of incentive and guild base. So I think it's going to be nice that now you don't, you know, oh shucks, I thought the raid was at 5:00, but, you know, I lost track of time, didn't get the hit. Now I'm in, you know, 40th place with at rewards. Now, you know, it's like, oh well, I forgot to hit today, but, you know, raid will still be on tomorrow. I can still do it tomorrow, and I'll still be able to grab rewards at the end. Which I think one thing they said was, like, you had to at least attempt it once. So, like, you couldn't just be an absolute freeloader like it is now, where you post it, or all you have to do is just hit a join button and you get rewards. I think you have to at least do one, like, post or whatnot. Like, I'm trying to see where they said that, because
so you just have to do one. So you pretty much I'm assuming you got to join the raid. You go in, you click auto, you do your thing, you post it, and whatever guild reward your guild gets, you will get those rewards, but your individual rewards are going to be shit.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it'll be good for guilds. I just wonder how the difficulty is going to be. Like, that's my one kind of concern, because if this is going to be like a CPIT type difficulty where, you know, you have to have an officer on checking it every 2 or 3 hours, every, you know, hour or two, pinging people and DMing them and telling them to hit or stop being lazy. And if it's going to be like that, then I don't want this. Please keep this as far away from me as humanly possible. But if it's going to be more of like, if at least, you know, 30 people hit, you're going to beat it kind of deal.
I think, you know, like, I know they did say it's going to run for 3 days, which, like, you know, I know, like, as a guild officer and as a TV officer, we definitely have some, especially when it comes to day-to-day stuff, you know, you can have some slackers, you know, struggling to get some raid tickets or stuff like that. However, I don't know, like, I'm more, you know, as my name suggests, I'm a bit more optimistic about this, just because I know I haven't done the Sith raid or the CPIT raid in a year. Or I guess not the CPIT, but, like, once we got to the point where we were clearing CPIT, like, successfully, I haven't done a CPIT run maybe in about 4 months. And Sith raid, I'm lucky to get a run in here or there. And I know, like, yeah, we're, I think, primarily American, I think, in returns, yeah. But I know we do have some internationals. I know
we got a mix. I know, like, we have one Romanian,
I know.
Uh,
Ioana, I see you in the
so,
chat. I know Squiffy's
um,
out there, our friends out east there.
uh, someone from Norway as well. Norway or Norway? Yeah, Norway, I think.
And so like
Because I remember I
as
had
a
a comment.
result, raids are like if you're not up at that time, like you're just gonna
Yeah,
get last place, and that's what it is. So
just a gift.
I like the 3 days, and I like that it's like the hard hitting raid people will still have the chance. Like everyone has a chance, no matter even if the guild rewards have been hit, you can still do your own run. So it incentivizes you to participate. Um, I think for me, it's like, what are rewards looking like? And like you said, what is. It sounds like, especially since it's going to be, at least in the new raids, it's going to be limiting factions. We'll see what the difficulty is. We'll see like what points are necessary. I can't imagine it's going to be much more difficult than the C pit experience or like every raid experience. It's something that like I think the first couple months, like the first month or two, might be difficult, but we'll figure out the best teams. And I mean, if it's going to be running for 3 days, I don't see why we can't, be able to beat that or max out what we can. Um,
And then here's my other question I have: Is this so? It's obviously going to be you start it and it's 72 straight hours that it's going to be on. And when that 72 hours is up, that's it of the rewards. You get your payout or whatnot. Now, I just wonder if like say for example, you can. I just wonder if you're going to be able to get your personal rewards before your guild rewards. And then my other question would be, how many tickets is it going to be? Is this going to be like a C pit where you can do it one time per week, but then I think someone said it's like every 1.3 weeks, the tickets line up to where you can do two in a week. Is this going to be one of those situations where you go, you do it for 3 days, and then you have to wait another 3 days to build up tickets, and then another 3 days of hitting it? So it's like almost it's almost 6 days between when you get
so
rewards, or
I'm
is this going to
reading
be
this
like,
here. I believe how it works is once you finish the one, you can jump right into the next one. I think
okay,
that's how I'm reading it, and it's going to be 3 days. You can claim your individual rewards whenever you want. However, they will, if you don't claim it during the 3 days, it'll be sent to your inbox with the guild rewards at the end of it. Because when I'm reading this thing here, for the one raid, in an effort to streamline inventory management, we've gone ahead and made raids have a single starting ticket, which will be used to launch all raids past and future. There will be one raid ticket to rule them all. Once this raid comes out, other raid tickets will be removed, and each guild will have the new ticket max, so you can dive into your first raid and the updated experience right away. I'm guessing we might have there might still be tickets, but I think it's one of those that the way that it should work is once at least how I would imagine is, especially since it's a 3-day event, once you finish it, you can just jump right up into queuing the next one or getting it started.
yeah, but here's my thing: is this going to take 6 days to accumulate all the tickets, or is this going to take 3 days to accumulate all the, like, is this going to be like, you know
I
I
would
mean, you can get a
I
max,
would
like you can get a
imagine
max.
you should be able to get tickets while the current raid is going. Like I at least in my mind, it should be like maybe there's a day of a day break. I'm looking at this post a little bit more.
Yeah, so like I mean, like you're looking at like ticket wise, you can get 30,000 a day. Well, heroic Sith is 60,000 to run it, so that's every 2 days you can run one. Heroic AAT is every 3 days. Sith raid is every 4 days. C-Pit's every 6.5-ish days, if my math is right. 6 or 7, I think. Yeah, I think 6. Don't quote me on that, though. Yeah, 6. But, like, is this one going to be, like C-Pit, where you need 1,800 tickets to run it, but you can only get, that takes 6 days of actually farming the tickets out. So once you're done running your 3 days, you still have to wait another 3 to get the tickets for it. So I mean, like that. I just wonder how. Like that's my next question: is are they going to? How long is going to be the wait time? Is this going to be something where, you know, guilds are going to have to be a little more strict on getting tickets, because if not, you're going to be a day behind getting rewards or
whatever it
what?
is. I think that like we all like, because again, with every guild, we all got the same amount of tickets. You know, we got to where we were maxing out our raid tickets. I think, at least in my mind, how this makes sense is they're not going to take away rewards from us. I think it's going to, so no matter like if it's every 3 days you're starting a raid, or maybe the raid's once a week, I think the rewards will correlate so that like what we get on the reward track is similar to the previous experience of when we were running the raids on certain times.
Yeah, I know that, but I'm more specifically wondering, like, this specific raid. Like, is this going to be a 6 days total to acquire all the tickets to run this thing, or is this going to be more like, oh, it takes 4 days, there's just 1 day break where you have to actually farm the tickets, or is this going to be more like, you know, oh, you're going to only be able to start one every 9 days or something like that?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't. Again, and anyone in the chat who's looked over the roadhead, I'm not seeing anything as to the frequency.
I haven't either, but I'm saying it more as a concern.
Right.
I guess
right.
as more of a hypothetical of this is what we might have to worry about in the future or whatnot. So, but
the other things with these raids here, we are going to be getting a new currency, which we can buy stuff with. So that more currency, more stuff. That's good. We will now be able to see all guild activities in the events tab. So like raids, territory wars, territory battles. CG finally answered us for like when people forget that like, oh, there's a TW running, but I didn't see it because the fucking hyperdrive bundle was there. Well,
yeah.
It's now when you go into your events tab to go do your Omega battles and to do your assault battles, you'll see whatever active TW, raids, territory war, that will be there in the events tab, which that's a good change. I like that.
So it's gonna be like kind of like a hyperlink to it.
Yes,
in a way. Okay,
and we
great.
Also now can view the guild info screen for our own guild. I know we've been asking for this for a long time, and after 7 years, we now have it.
Yeah, so now no longer I have to go beg another Alliance member to go do it for me. That's pretty nice.
So, but yeah, I think for like just a knee-jerk or like surface level reaction to the raids, I think that's pretty solid. I think let's jump into these podcast questions that we have. Let me pull the first one up here. Thank you to Relius, as always. You've got us nailed here.
We probably could have done the podcast with just his questions, honestly.
So, starting with Litho first, are you excited for Tuscans plus Scion of Django? Absolutely. I am the biggest slut out there for Boba Fett Scion of Django, and I am so excited that I can run Tuscans with him. What about you, Rock? Are you excited for Tuscans and Scion of Django?
No.
All right. Well, there you have it.
I'm just joking. I think it's, it's nice that Tuscans finally got some love. Can we please give Jawas a Omnicron that is actually worth something? Because their current one is kind of booty cheeks, to say the least. Can we give them a Grand Arena, or give them a raid Omnicron, please? A raid Omnicron. But yeah, that's my take. Guess we'll go with Mandalorian. It's not really a question, but he's more or less talking about the raid rewards: communism or capitalism. I guess that's the big question with the new raid. I guess time will tell. Whatever we prefer.
At least on first glance, I prefer the communist style, the communist style rewards as opposed to the capitalist style. There's been so many times where like you solo something and like six people also solo it and you get sixth place, even though you all posted the same score. I think this will also help alleviate that.
I agree, somewhat. What's next? Really,
Um,
just like,
yeah, go
renewed
ahead.
spark in quests. Honestly, I'll be honest, I've forgotten that quests were actually a thing until today. Like, I've not like actively done any of them. Like, I still have the quest to do where it's like bring Treya into an undersized squad in Grand Arena, win 10 battles with Treya in Grand Arena, and like I need to do them because it's got some good Gear 12 gear, but like I completely forgot that they were a thing. Like, absolutely. But I would love a couple of newer quests, like update some of them. Like, we have a lot more factions now. Like, it would be cool to see kind of like a kind of like I would love kind of like a quest where once you unlock a GL, you get a couple of tasks like win 20 territory war battles, win, a couple of territory war battles with this character, or, you know, stuff like that, are like siphon 1,000 times, or whirlwind 2,000 times, just like something like that, where it's like you unlock a GL and then you use the GL for a long amount of time, and then bam, you just kind of get rewarded for it. I don't know, that'd be kind of cool. Get a
No,
cool little
I'm with you there because like I still need to get 19 more Wampa kills for that bounty hunter one. So like I'm still there, but like especially now with like one of the things that I liked about the old GAC system was it had the portraits and titles, and I like collecting stuff, so I'd always like getting them because I would always swap my portrait and my title all the time. And especially now that like all these new marquee characters have been coming with portraits and titles, they've thrown a couple in Conquest, but like I think like I really like your idea of like when you unlock a legendary character or a GL, like throws like Jabba, like all of the Hut Cartel characters, or at least the marquee ones, had portraits and titles. Like throw some, like you said, like like throw a million detonators or something, or not a million,
Yeah,
but like
like
something like that, like like 500 thermal detonators or something, and with Jabba or with this character, and you get that portrait. I think it's cool to like update them and to do that. I'm totally down for that.
and then like we have like they had the ones where it's like it's with like the raid tunes, and then like a couple of other random tunes where like you bring them in the grand arena, and then here's some free gear 12 gear. Like, it'd be nice to kind of get some quests where like a it's not just a portrait. Like, the portraits are cool and all, don't get me wrong, but like, I don't know, kind of give me some gear for winning, you know in like this hypothetical we've created, like, siphoning 2 billion times or something like that. Like, I don't want a portrait for that. Give me like, throw me a couple Kairos my way or something like that. I'm like, even if it's like 10, like, I don't know, that'd be kind of, helpful.
So next question here. Let's see. Starting out. All right, we got Relius's questions. First one. Do you think these new Tuscan additions may help out with the 3v3 dilemma, being Chieftain, Warrior, Cyanogengo, and the classic trio? I'm going to be honest. I think you just said the teams right there. Considering that Chieftain is not going to work with Tuscan Raider, I think it's going to be the new two characters, Cyanogengo, and then and the rest of the guys for 3v3. And maybe the Tuscan Warrior is going to have a 5v5 one, and then that's why you're going to bring all five together. But I think that's just the splits you're going to run for 3v3.
Yeah, I agree. His second question: with only one raid being launchable at a time, will we start seeing issues with having to occasionally schedule a different raid to get shards for Treya, GK, or do we think we're far enough to purely go for Kirat? Or will this new currency be able to purchase the raid tunes? I think we kind of touched on this one, but like, I think it's kind of like with the TBs. Like, a lot of guilds are like, oh, when should we go for the new TB? When should we keep on staying with the old one? Like, at some point, like I think in returns, I think everyone has a 7-star. Why? I think we have like 8 people who don't have a 7-star cam. Like, we're at the point now where like the majority of our, other than the get 2, get 1, and the gear, the GOTBs are just kind of pointless for us because we're not really getting the shards from them. So we just may as well start doing the new one. But that's what these raids are going to kind of become. It's like, once the majority of your guild, we started to master the new raid. Most people have Han at 7-star. Let's just go to the next one. And then you just kind of work your way up. But the new, I do think that they should do that. Throw, this new raid currency, throw the raid tunes in there. I don't know. And then if they're going to throw some tunes in there, go ahead and I would love another store with a bunch of these like older tunes. Like, give Bosk like a store where you can buy 10 shards for him. I don't know. I think it's time we get another store like that where we can kind of catch up on, a lot of these older tunes that have been in the game for eons now. So that's my take. Go ahead, MDA. What you got?
Yeah, I think this new raid currency is gonna have like Han Solo, GK, Treya. I think we'll be able to purchase their shards there. As again, you get the shards from the raid, or also I think the individual reward track I think is also going to give you additional shards for stuff. I don't know. I think that. I think what CG is trying to do with the raids here is I think they really want to incentivize people of like GPs staying together and on the same kind of like path. Because I don't think they want people with like 2 mil GP or 4 mil GP like jumping up into these high end guilds because they want to get Reva shards. I think they want people to like grow at the same time and organically. So like, yeah, we're going for Han. Okay, yeah, we got Han. We're going to the next one. And I'm sure they're not going to lock anyone out who like doesn't have these raid characters. But I think it's going to work itself out either with currency, the reward track, or maybe you do have to run certain raids. We'll see. Again, we don't know what the rewards look like, so I think that will be explained later. But I think the currency is a good idea, and I like your idea of like throwing other characters, other gear. Shit, I'd be fine with conquest characters going there too.
Even if they were like,
like 5 shards, like just even 5 shards. Yeah, I'd be fine with that.
Yeah. His next question, unfortunately, like I was looking at when he posted this and when the Jordica Omicron came out, but he posted this one before the Jordica Omicron was announced. Do you think we'll see GG get kicked down to being even worse team thanks to Jawa's being incentivized? Norway struggles with a lot of teams and now is, one of his hardest counters become way more populated. Jordica Omicron.
Yeah. DDK Omicron answers it right there.
Question 4. What do you think the rules will be like for the new, I can't pronounce it, the Kirat Dragon?
The Crate Dragon?
Yeah. Crate.
Crate.
Okay.
Yeah, crate, like a wooden crate.
Okay. Our 10 shards, Kenobi series, old Ben or Herman, not old Ben, old one, Obi-Wan. Oh God. Something like that.
I think it's Relic 10.
Yeah. I think they're gonna throw
Relic.
I think they'll throw Relic 8 in there. But like
I think Relic 8 is coming to just the permanent reward track, and I think it's like when you're doing the difficulty level, the like high enough difficulty level, they're just going to, and this is like when they're getting rid of CPIT. So like they have the different difficulties. You can do the guild, you can do the rewards at, and if you are doing the normal or the lower tier, you're not going to get relegate. But I think if you're doing the higher tier, that's where you're going to get your relegate material. So I think that's just like that's why they're getting rid of CPIT, is because they're going to do that. Whereas I think here, I don't know if they're going to do another character. I guess they could do a character. I think it's going to be Relic 10. I think they want to keep it streamlined, and we're due for another Relic level. I think it's been a year, maybe even a little longer since.
I think it's been about that because, well, wait, it's been actually less than a year because they announced Relic 8 when CPIT came out. CPIT came out 2021. And then Relic 9 came out like 4 months later, 5 months later.
Yeah.
So it's about 10 months. It's been 10 months R9's been out.
So I think it's Relic 10. What's your gut reaction?
I'm hoping for, bare minimum some Kairos and a lot of Gear 12 stuff because they but then again, here's, kind of my thinking is what's the reward track going to be like for your personal compared to a guild? Like, is the guild going to be like relatively shit compared to your personal, or is it going to be the other way around? Like, I think that's kind of one of the things that like will get answered at some point, but like
I would be really happy if like once a week we were, if we are maxing out the guild reward track and doing decent like individual rewards, which I would say if you were consistently beating CPIT, I think you should be getting that. If we could get fully crafted Kairos like once a week or frequently, that's pretty solid rewards. That's kind of what I'm expecting, because again, they're wanting to even out the rewards, and usually from CPIT is like you would either get 25 Kairos or you'd get the fully crafted Kairos. I'm fully expecting if we're running this once a week or once a week or twice. So if it's twice a week, I could see 25, but if it's once a week, I'm expecting fully crafted Kairos. Like once a week, you're getting a fully crafted Kairo.
I think another thing that I wonder how they're gonna like balance this is the regular guild tokens, because as it stands, I haven't done the math for like if you just do once a week bare minimum, you're doing one heroic pit, one heroic Sith, one heroic AAT, and your pit and AAT is on Sim. You're getting a maximum of 4,500 guild event tokens and a minimum of at a minimum of 3,705. But then that's not including, the 2 extra heroic pits you'll run, the extra AAT you'll run, the sometimes extra heroic Sif. So like you're probably looking at closer to 7,000 or 8,000 a week. So if we're still making our 7 to 8,000 guild event tokens a week, then I'm happy. But because a lot of that gear is kind of crucial. I'm still I'm still buying a bunch of shit from there. So like, I wonder how they're gonna do that. I wonder if that's gonna be your personal reward tier or whatnot. But I don't know. I think at bare minimum they give us Gear 12 stuff. I'm happy. But throw in a couple Kairos, I'll be ecstatic. Throw in some relic stuff. Now you're talking.
Now we're talking. But yeah, no. That's that. We'll see when rewards get announced. Next question: how do you think we will get Cal Kestis? Is it going to be Marquee or a Galactic Chase? I think it's gonna be Marquee. I think we're gonna get 4 or 5 Marquees, whatever the standard like hero's journey is, like similar to BAM. I think it's gonna be something like that.
Yeah. So he's a hero's journey, so he's gonna be really easy to unlock. Huh.
I don't know if he'll be super easy to unlock. I'm not sure because like again, He might
Or is
just
he
be
gonna
like
be like Star Killer?
he might be like starting with like, oh, like take these 4 or 5 characters to Relic 5 and then like do the event.
Okay. I think we'll get 4 marquees, and then he will be the chase. But there's gonna be 2 of them, so that's gonna be nice. Question 6. They have they said they were talking about C-Pit since it's taking out C-Pit since it served its purpose. Will we get R8 mats now, or Crate give them a use, or will we lock to 300 mil in territory? It'll be good for territory war to be truly important, but if it's in the way, I don't think that's a good way.
I think we touched on this.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be built into the reward tracks, so we shouldn't notice a difference.
Yeah. Question number 7. So Mary will lift the Night Sister faction. How good do you predict they will be? Will it be like a GBA situation? Will make them marginally better? Kind of talked about it. I think it's going to be, I'm hoping like a dash. Like my goal would be they become like a dash team. That's the the ceiling. The floor is they beat bounty hunters and they're a little bit better on defense.
Yeah, I think I don't expect much like in terms of improvement here because I think Marin's going to be like a marquee character. So at the end of the day, this is still a team full of marquees. However, I think like with the Omicron that she has, I'm not sure what mode it'll be for. I think like what the Finn resistance with Zori is right now, I think it's going to be like that. I think it's going to be like a better faction than what it is. Like you said, it's going to be Dash. I think you could see Qui-Gon levels. I would say as of right now, because like Night Sisters are kind of like below bounty hunters with no Omicron. I would say like if they could be like Zam bounty hunters, I'm happy.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I think this is the last question. Kree will be going on Force users. Think Ahsoka Fulcrum might finally get a home. Yes.
Yeah.
And then I wonder if I also wonder if they're going to throw in a couple extra light side unaligned Force users because there's currently 1, 2, 3, 4.
So the unaligned Force users that we have here, I'm assuming it's just going to be light side. I can't imagine that there's going to be dark side. Because, again, even all the dark side ones are kind of taken. They all kind of have their own homes. So it's Ahsoka Fulcrum, Ben Solo, Commander Tano, CLS, Rey, JTR, Scavenger Rey, and Visas. I'm not going to lie, like, if you could give Scav Rey a home, if you could give Fulcrum, at least outside of TW, a home, even like Visas. Actually, no, she's. I think she's tied to a Starkiller team.
Yeah.
Because even with Juhani Omicron, I'm not gonna lie. Like, if you could do like a Seer, Cal Kestis, either like Fulcrum, Scav Rey, some kind of team like that. That'd be I'd be fine with that.
I think they're gonna have to add like another unaligned Force user because Cat goes with JMK, Ben Solo goes with Rey. Rey is Rey. JTR gets her own team, and so leaving those out the way, that leaves you with Rey Scavenger, Visas Mar, CLS, and Fulcrum as some other ones, but CLS is a leader for Rebels, can't really do that. And then Visas is tied to Starkiller, which even then, like, you could, say you didn't want to, run JTR, you can run JTR with, Starkiller and put Visas there. So I think you're looking at like 3 unaligned Force users, light side unaligned Force users to go with her.
Or shoot,
so
we might even see Seer, like, maybe Seer takes over as the leader for Starkiller. And, like, we get Palp back, or, like,
Hmm.
Something we could see something like that. I'm not quite sure how the team's going to go, or what type, what role these characters are going to be, but like, I'm
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Because then, if she takes over the unaligned force user, say they give her some synergy where it's just unaligned force users, doesn't matter light side or dark side, then you can throw like a second sister or one of the leftover Inquisitors with Starkiller. Huh. That could be quite interesting.
What might be interesting is I think you're going to have two leftover Inquisitors, which ironically I believe are going to be they're going to be the Fallen Order Inquisitors, because GI, Fifth Brother, Seventh Sister, Riva are kind of the core of the team. Eighth Brother is just better than Second Sister, just across the board. And I think now, like with Third Sister, I don't think you have as much of a need for Ninth Sister. I mean, shit, you could make a funny like Fallen Order team. Again, this is all speculation. I have no idea how their kits are going to work. But that could be fun.
Yeah. Huh. I guess that's.
And Takuma, I wanted to touch on. He said, "Is Boba getting the Tusken tag?" No, he is not. He is the only time as of right now that he will be interacting with the Tuskens is if you throw the 3v3 Grand Arena Omicron on the Tusken Chieftain. Then Boba Fett will like function as a Tusken. He'll be counted as a Tusken. However, Rock, you and I were talking offline about this. I was doing some reading here, and I think for balance purposes, they couldn't give him the Tusken tag because the way that Boba Fett, like his kit works. So let me pull up his kit here. So the way that Cyanogengo works is that whenever he gains a stack of momentum, he gains 5% turn meter. And the Tusken Chieftain, whenever an enemy gains bonus turn meter, grant Tusken allies 1 stack of momentum for 3 turns. So basically with this, like if you're running 5v5 and Boba Fett had, Cyanogengo had the Tusken tag, if like, let's just say you're running any sort of team that does a team-wide TM boost, if every character gains turn meter, he is granting 5 stacks of momentum to the team, which in turn, like that's 25% turn meter. And in this, like, and especially if you had the like, if his payout was activated, which in the Omicron it is, his momentum gains are doubled. So like he's getting 50% turn meter every time someone on the other team, or like when the team is gaining turn meter, like Boba Fett would be going so fast, and that's on top of his crazy shenanigans with turn meter gains that he already has. So I think for balance purposes, they didn't want to give him the Tusken tag outside of 3v3 for this. But he's going to be a lot of fun. He is like going to be really hard to kill. I mean, you're going to be seeing Cyanogengo having like north of 600% defense at a time, 600% tenacity, and this is even before Datacrons come in. It's going to be a gross 3v3 team, and this is even before the Tusken Warrior is here. So we'll see how this goes. But no, that is the long way of saying no, he will not be getting the Tusken tag.
Yeah. Guess that's all for the questions. Unless anyone wants to throw something in the podcast text, go for it. But I guess while we wait for that, MDA, what you been forming, bud?
Well, I have been full steam ahead on Rey. My Ben Solo, I just gave him his last Zeta, and I'm halfway to his 3rd Omicron. I'm giving him all 3 of his. All of my resistance is Gear 12, and I just unlocked Radis today, and I did a couple refreshes on it, so I'm 40 out of 65. So the next time the event comes around, I'll bring it to 5 stars. So I'll have that ready next month. But Ray's going really well. I think I've got Stick Ray is going to be R7 tomorrow, and I'm like halfway through the requirements. So I'm hoping I can have Ray unlocked and finished by like March, April, like around that time. But yeah, working on Ray, and I'm simultaneously farming Outrider because my next two big projects, and I'm really not sure which one to do because my heart tells me to go for Lord Vader next, but I think I should go for Profundity before that because having the ship is better than having another GL, but I don't know. Lord Vader just excites me more, but Lord Vader and Profundity are going to be after Ray. Yeah, that's what I've been doing, getting Ray up and running. But what about you? What have you been farming?
For the most part, just C requirements. I'm trying to think. It truly is insane how the gear changes have like changed farming for this game because I sit there and I was like, oh, I'll look at it and I'm still in my old mindset of farming where like, okay, I don't need to upgrade you until I'm done with the character. Like, the past two GLs I farmed, I kind of had like a little rotation going where I always had one character that I needed to get the relic mats for. And then I had one character I needed to get gear 12 gear for. And then I had one character that I need to get everything else for. So I was working on pretty much three characters at once. But now, yeah, see, like, look at your, like, Ray status right now. Everyone's at gear 12 because you got all the Carbontes and stuff like that. And so now I'm sitting there and I'm like, hey, you know what? I can have all you guys at gear 12 for no random reason at all, just to, have you guys at gear 12. And so, but it's not bad. It's making me realize that I'm slowly running out of relic mats, and I can't wait for them to put the little packs back in the store. But
What what did you get in Conquest?
I did not do good this last Conquest. So I started grad school like, let me think, 3 weeks ago. I've read, what's today? I've read about 12 to 15 books in the past 3 weeks. So I've had no time. It has essentially been I get done with the book, drop it down, write whatever paper I need to write, and I go on to the next one. And so I think I got like the third crate. I didn't even finish. I didn't even get to Sector 5. That's how rough it was for me.
Yikes.
Yeah, and usually usually I get at least the second to last crate, but like I was struggling for time. I was like, but I don't know. My whole philosophy right now is I would like Trench, but like I just don't want to have to gear the Separatist for him, which would just be Nuke Gunray. So I could care less about Trench at the moment, but I really want Ben Solo so he can be my unaligned force user for Star Killer, because I have zero intention to get Ray. Ray will probably be my last or second last Geo. And
How dare you? You're breaking my heart.
I'm sorry. My whole philosophy is she's kind of one of those GLs where the more stuff you have, the better she is. And so I'm kind of taking the philosophy, let me get all the stuff and then I'll get her. So that way, I don't get to a point in the game where like, oh, I want to throw Dash with her. I want to go ahead and unlock Dash before I do. So that's why I've been farming. I pulled up my squad check and I started farming for C in mid-January. I decided to finally start going all in on him. I had Darth Vader and Piet done. Those were the only two I had done. And then everything else was like, I think I had my troopers at gear 12. And then everything else was like gear 11. And then like Maul, Royal Guard, we're all at like gear 1 or something, some shit like that. So I don't know, I made pretty good progress in the past, I would say, 3 weeks. It's like, oh, he's like halfway done. It's insane the progress you can make on a GL now. So that's what I've been doing. And I guess if we don't have anything else to hoot and holler about for a bit, I guess we can go ahead and sign off then.
Yeah, I was about to say, I appreciate everyone for stopping by. Let us know what you guys think about the new raid changes, the new Tuscans, and all that. And yeah, it's been a good one. We'll catch you guys on the next one.